seeing a shared screen, and you're also seeing, obviously, how this is done. Okay, good. So what we're going to do now is we're going to try and work this together. Now, I'm mindful of the fact that none of you put any of your scores up. So did we not put it up because we haven't done it, or what? Which is it? Okay, so first things first. When you I remember when I said have a look at your formative and see whether any of these things we're doing here today are relevant, so you can ask the right questions. So when we first thing we said is calculate the required values in the yellow shaded columns. We've got basics, descriptive statistics, xlookup, pivot table, transpose, text to column, and errors. So let me start with the basics. A little bit of some we did here last week. This is a store that sells oranges, apples, and pears. We've got store 1, store 2, store 3. And we need to calculate the sales value. So it's just basically the price of what we sold says how much quantity we sold it. So we're just going to multiply there. The first thing we're going to do is multiplication. So as usual, with everything, we put our equal to sign. Our equal to sign, we choose the cells. In multiplication in Excel, X does not work. So X just takes away any formula. Multiplication in Excel uses the star sign. So you just go star, and then you choose the next box, and it gives you 5. Did anybody get 5? Now, when you do that, that formula applies to all these other boxes here. So all you have to do is, rather than calculating everything one by one, you just drag it down and it will calculate the rest for you like that. Now, as it calculates the rest for you, you would also look down here. Can you see? And you're able to see that there is the summation is already there. 540, and you can see there the average is 60. So 540, yeah, let us test it out. So we just do a summation, sum, choose everything there. Hope I'm going as slow as possible. Or if I'm too slow, let me know. If I'm too fast, let me know. Just ask any question at any time. And the same thing we'll do there as well. We'll just sum it up. So just do a summation, total basically. Select everything there. And we sold 450 apples, oranges, and pears. And we made 540 pounds so far this month. That's not bad, is it? So we now go to the mean volume for sales 1. So the mean sales volume. Remember, mean sales volume. Volume is what? The number of things we sold, quantity. So that's the column we're going for now. Remember, mean is average. So we go equal to average. And then we select only store 1. So for store 1 alone, we get 20. We do the same thing for all the other stores. We do equal to mean, sorry, average. I say mean. Sorry, average. We choose store 2. Get that. The same thing for store 3. So equal to average. We choose store 3 alone. And that's what we're going to get. And the next one says the mean sales value for all stores. So remember, we said volume before, volume, and now we're going sales. So sales for all stores, we're going to this column next. So you have to watch out for the volume sales value thing so you don't make a mistake. So you go average of this sales. So you select all the sales without the total and you get 60. So remember what I said here? If you were checking, When we calculated all of that, or you selected it, it gave you the sum right down there, 540. And it also gave you the average, 60. And that's what we just calculated here, 60. Last week we did minimum, maximum, same thing, equal to sign, minimum, min, sales price. So price, remember sales price is here. What's the minimum sales price? As you can see there, it's 0.5 and the maximum is 2.5. However, you might have a longer data set and Excel can do it for you. So why not? So we're going to get our maximum sales price, maximum. We just choose that there and we get 0.5. Now the range of the prices is now the what? Maximum subtracted by the minimum. So we say maximum, subtract sign, minimum. That's our two. And standard dev, same thing. We just do standard dev of the sample. Wait here, just choose a sample of sales value. So we just do that. 52. So life is good. We finished first basics. So let's go to descriptive statistics. Descriptive statistics says calculate the mean, mode, median, maximum, minimum, standard deviation. Now, is this one of the things you've been asked to do? Thank you, Tikaram. That's good. Well done. Is this one of the things you've been asked to do in your if you look at your assessment brief, are you calculating mean, median, all of that or not? All right, now, like I said last week, it just makes sense if you're presenting your work to the board or somewhere to have a good, nice looking table. So I'm going to create a table here. And obviously to create a table, like I said, you just click that, shift, go to the end of the column, control, arrow down. It will select the whole table for you. And then you leave that and then you do control T and it will create your table for you. Just say, yep, create table for me. Now we're going to calculate these things. I could create a table here, but I don't want to go into labeling. You should, and then label out, do table one, something like that. But the mean, obviously, remember, is average. So we're going with the average of the sales volume. So we need to select this whole box. And we can't start doing that. It's too much. So I'm just going to click that to my shift control again, arrow down, and it selects every value for me there. You see that it says, if you look at the formula there, it says average of table one, all the sales volume units, all of them. And it's giving me the response 221. I'll just do the same thing throughout. So equal to sign, mode is right there. So we can just get our mode, everything here, control shift, shift control, arrow down. I hope you guys are doing the same thing. And 75 for median, same thing, shift, control, control shift, arrow. Oh, sorry, not there. Oh my God. Equal to median. Sorry, median. This is what we want. Control, arrow down. Same thing. So you can see this is how you select the longer table. The previous basics was a short table, so you could select out. But for here, the table is longer. So if you can't select out, that's what you do. Remember min max again. And the other table was so short we could select it This is longer, so we need to do that. Control Shift, arrow down, enter, and it will give you the value. Same thing for your min, and just like that. Shift Control Shift, arrow down, enter. Same thing for standard dev, uh, got that. 118. Okay, and then it says using a pivot table, calculate the average sale. Now, pivot tables are very interesting. You're going to use a lot of pivot tables because, for long tables, you can't start going through every single table. So you will extract information out using pivot tables. Now, the good part is, remember, last time we had our table right here, but our table will not always be at the edge. Wherever it is, and we create a table, the first title is okay. You go to the first column there, and then you do insert. When you go to the function insert, you can see two there. There's pivot tables, but then there's also recommended pivot tables. When you're working with a lot of data, you can click that. Say it's taking me to a different page and shown me examples of recommended pivot tables. So, but you see from here, I can then start shifting things around, shift it around to the best way possible on. So I can say, okay, now I want my sales there, or I want my volume there, or I want something there, shift it around however you want. This is going all over the place. Oh, it's all good. I want my area in rows, for instance. So that you should do. Now, when you do it, you're obviously going to get better results. Yeah. See, like what I was doing myself. But sometimes the recommended can give you good work as well. So just doing stuff like that is what we need. So I'm going to go back, leave that sheet, and come back to what we're meant to do and insert our pivot tables by ourselves. So insert pivot table, and I'm going to say I want my pivot table on the existing worksheet. You can just put a dot here, and then it might go there. If it does not work, select a larger section. I find sometimes I do have to select a larger section, but sometimes I just put one there and it works. So that's where my pivot table is going to be. Then I just do the same thing I'm saying. So I just go, so the area codes and the sales, and it's giving me what I want. So some sales and the rows, and title everything. So this would be area. Make sure you title all your tables, area, and describe it as well. So this is the second thing we're doing. So this will probably be table 3 or table 2, something like that. Let me just call it table 2 because that in this page it will be table 1, so be table 2. Then I'll say something like sum of sales or whatever it is I'm trying to do. If I want to, I can just copy that and have another section there. That gives me a second pivot table, and I can decide to say, okay, shall we turn this into averages? So if I go here, maybe right click or left click, depends on if you're using a Mac or a computer. Sometimes you go to the edge there. Some people will go to the edge there. It will open for them. So you can either go there or click from there and just select, instead of your sum of sales units, you go average. I just want the averages, and it changes everything for you. So if you click there, it has changed from that sum of sales to the average. And as we said last week, too many digits is not great. So you can go to your general. First is general, second is numbers. So just choose numbers, and it'll reduce that for you and make it manageable. So the first, I would say my sum of sales. Always title all your tables regardless, so that you're referring to them and say, see table 1, table 3, average of all sales, something like that. These are sort of things you need to be doing. Okay, see, so you've calculated the average of sales for all regions using your pivot tables. That's what you need to do. Okay, so we move on to X and VLOOKUP. Now, with your X and VLOOKUP, this is very important because, you know, you're going to get going to find opportunities where in the real world, people send you Excel documents with different things. You know, they separate things out. They will send you 2 or 3 pages. They will give you on sheets like that. And you might need to drag something. Maybe I need to drag some of those things here, some of the values there and impute them here so I can do my analysis well or see what I'm trying to do in a proper way or just be more professional. So what I can do is I'll first insert a table here. I guess I always do. I like professional tables. So shift, do that, press control, arrow down, and then control T. No, don't do that. That's going away all over the place. Okay. And then do that again. And that. Oh God, I put control F as if I was looking for something. There's F next to T. Okay, so control T, create my table. It's giving me a nice looking table there, as you can see. And over here as well, I just feel like creating a table because, yeah, why not? It's very small characters. So I just do my control T again. It creates a nice table for me. I can put the columns. So as you can see, there's A1, A2, A3 there, A1, A2, A3, which is my location code. So I might as well say label everything, And there is a location description, You know what I mean? Just write it out. And then here, include location, whatever should be location as well. What we're going to do is we're going to drag these values and impute them all here. So let's start. The first thing we do is an equal to sign, VLOOKUP. VLOOKUP is about vertical looking out. So we say, what do we want? We want the location code. Then we just do a comma and say, in which table do you want it? So we have to choose a table. This is probably table 2 or 3. So let's see. So if we say table, it will show us, yes, it's table 3. So when you choose the right table, it will actually highlight it. So if you're ever working with a lot of tables and you don't see the one you want highlighted, no, you're not on the right table. So you just go comma, and then you say, well, in this table, which column do you want? And it's location description. So it's the second one. So I just put 2. I want column 2. Now put another comma in. I says, well, do you want the exact thing or approximate? And I say, well, I want the exact same thing. So I put exact match and I just go enter and it has populated everything for me in real time. Because if, let's say, in the other Excel sheet, if anything ever changes, can you see it will actually change that as well? So let's say here, if I change that to water, you see it's changed to water here as well, and vice versa. Okay, so that's VLOOKUP. Now XLOOKUP is a more modern function of VLOOKUP apparently. So go location, bit more complex apparently. So if we go location, you'll find that VLOOKUP goes with only vertical looking up, while XLOOKUP goes with any horizontal, vertical, all the lookups, dragging things in different paths, not just vertically and in order. So formula is different. So you just go equal to xlookup. So xlookup, well, what are we trying to look up? We say same thing, we're looking up some values here. So this value is here. I might just select that and it says, all right, comma, and say, okay, where else do you want to look up anything? Say, well, I want this values here. Values here. Actually, I think I'm supposed to, yeah, it's fine. And I do a comma, and then I say, well, what if these things are not found? If not found, what should we do? And I say, if it's not found, just put not found. And you find that sometimes if it doesn't find it, it will just put not found for you. So you know that whatever you were looking for was not there. Because there's a lot of things. You might look through a lot of data. And then you do a comma, and then it says, oh, come on. It's not saying the things it's supposed to say. Come on, go on. I mean, somewhere our formula is a bit wrong. Why is it not going that way? 0, it's not 0. A. See, why is it not going that way? Ah, exact match. Oh, no, no, no. You, I wasn't ready. What happened there? Okay, yes, let's do it again. So xlookup, and we want to look up this function. Here. We go there, and we also want to look up that function over there. And then say, well, if it's not found, what should we do? Put not found in inverted commas, by the way. Uh, it's supposed to be showing me a figure, but it's not. So it means there's something that I've done wrong. Let me see. Look it properly. What have I done right? I don't like the word wrong. I don't like negative words, as you can see. What have I done right? Okay, okay, I'm supposed to put the table. Okay, guys. Sometimes the Mac and a Windows does different things. What are you working on, a Mac or Windows? And is it giving you the values you want? Is it? What do you guys? You find it? Every time you see a red there, it means something is wrong with your formula. So maybe I should select the whole table instead. Very interesting. But if this doesn't work, we'll select one only and see. Alrighty. So that is not opening what I needed to open. I said I don't want 2 zeros there, so there's something wrong with this formula. Definitely. Snap match is giving me the same thing it's not supposed to. And search first to last. To do that, see, yeah. Every time you see a red, it means you haven't given them what they want in the formula. Okay, so I'm going to do this one last time. If it doesn't work, it means maybe my system has stored a formula that's not supposed to be in there. So that's why it's messing it up. Okay, so go back to here. That's what I'm looking for. Looking for that table. Put that there. Still a big comma. It's there. Okay. And this one's as well. And say if you don't find anything, what should we do? Just put not found. And the exact match search first to last. And finally, it did it, which is funny because we're doing the exact same thing. So why did it not work the first time? As Excel for you. Okay, so as you can see, we've pulled whatever we want there. Now, one of the reasons why I've insisted I must get this right is because you are expected to do a V or XLOOKUP for your assessment. And all you need to do, if you look at your data set, there's a section there that says months for your assessment. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, it is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right down to 12. This is just for illustration's sake. Now, what you're going to find is for as a data student, you want to be able to do your work well, or else it's going to be considered an error. Months are not written in any document as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we expect you to change it to January, you know what I mean, February, March, April, right down to December. And then you do a view XLOOKUP and drag it into your data set. And that is what we expect you to do for your assessment. I hope that's clear. When you're writing your assessment, you're going to realize that that is what we expect from you. Okay, you're still here. We're moving on to the next. So you can see here, can you see? That is your data set for your assessment. Can you see it? Can you see what I'm saying? See that? Okay, cool. So you're supposed to try and, oh no, that's for the correlation. That's the correlation one. That's for the second task. All right, I'll go back to the one I was working with, which is, where are you? Data set. That's 3. Oh, I don't have that open anymore. I had it open before, but since I've closed it, the data set for the assessment. If you look at it, which I said you should before we start this, you're going to see months 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do an X or V lookup and change that because it's better than changing everything manually. Okay, I think we've covered this part. So we move on to pivot tables. Same thing, like I said before, if you ever find any pivot table anywhere, then please create headers for it. Create a proper table. It can look nice. Control Shift, arrow down, Control T, create table. And create a pivot table, as I said, put that arrow there, insert either whatever they're recommending for you, or just create your own pivot table. Your existing worksheet if you want, or somewhere else. Then it has that. So you'll be able to say, okay, what do we want to, you can take your values all over the place and find the best fit for yourself. I will give you, there's a video on pivot tables that Microsoft does, the different types and ways in which you can go around pivot tables. You can even go pivot and analyze and it will do everything for you. Now we're just doing the basic one. So I'll say, okay, maybe I should go with my location first. I want my location in my rows, which just shows very nicely there. And I would say, okay, what are my sales values? Well, my sales values here. So in every location, that's how much I've sold. And I wanted my profit is right next to that. So you can see that is a summary. If you are working with a manager, you can't take a long table like that and go show them. Just create a nice pivot table like that, and it summarizes everything. You can do the averages there, percentages, whatever it is. So that is what you do for your pivot tables. So now we go to transpose. If there's any part you don't understand, let me know. For now, I'm moving on. Okay, so same thing with this, just because I like, nice looking tables. So Control Shift, that, Control T, create a table, nice looking table with formulas, I'm assuming. Most times you'll find your tables vertical. Few times they might be horizontal. There are some people that want your tables to be horizontal. There's some people that want it to be vertical, or you might want your table to be vertical rather than horizontal. That's really up to you. So what we're trying to do is change this table from a vertical table to a horizontal table. So all we're going to do is, like I said before, just select everything, table down, just do a copy. So copy it, copy wherever you want to. And we go right to paste. So not just paste, we do paste special. If you go here, you're going to see, I have to move, something's blocking my view. Paste special. All right. It depends on if you're Mac or Windows. I think if you're on Windows, you're going to see the transpose easier. Or if you're in a Mac, you just look for paste special. Paste special will have transpose. In my case, I'm saying I want all my source themes, all my borders, every single thing that I put in that table to come with me. And then I click transpose. And did I actually click where I wanted it to go? No, I didn't. That's a mistake. I have to click there. This is where I want every value to go. So I go paste special. So paste. You have to click where you want it to go. It has to have a location. So I click that. And I click my transpose, and it has switched my table, obviously from the vertical table to horizontal table. If I had formulas and everything, it will do the same thing, pick it exactly as it is. But if you're ever in doubt and you don't really want any formulas, you just want, figures, you can just do quick equal to transpose. So like that, you just copy it and you say, I want my table over here. And you say, or just do it equal to transpose. Let's do transpose. And you now select whatever you want there, everything there. Control Shift arrow down. It is created the table for you, but without the additional formatting and all the other things you want to. Okay, so text to column. There's going to be times when some people write their names, merge their surnames, merge information together and all of that. What you want is to be able to separate things out into different columns so it looks nicer. So what you're going to be able to do is select what you want to text a column, the text you want to take to another column. That. And then you go to data. So we see your home, data over there. And there's a function here that says text to column. So you just choose that. It has delimited or fixed width, you leave it at delimited. Then you go next, and it will separate it because that's what I did last time. But say it's there, no separate. So I want a space between them. I want to separate them. I say next, and it says, well, where do you want it to be? Which location do you want it to be? So I have to choose a location. So I choose here. I want it to go here. And it says, okay, then. And then I do finish. Once I do that, it has separated it out for me. So you can see here, it's separated by location code, which is A5, from the location description France. You can do the same thing with all your names, similar thing. Choose where you want it to be and it will go there for you. Now, if you go with errors, you can say before, select, or easiest way, pick the first one, shift, go to the end, and it selects for you. Control, arrow down, Control T, selected your table, you've created a table, bring your table nicely forward so other people can see it. And then you say, if you're just looking at this table, you can see there are obviously errors. You know, what Tikram was asking early on, there's -3. It is not possible to have -3 sales. You can have 0, but you can't have -3 sales. You can't have 0.0143 sales either. So you know these are all errors, 3.33. Or for cost, you can have a yes. Okay, yes, this cost, how much is it? Or a dash. You know, you just made 180. Surely there's a cost. Not applicable when there is cost. You know, there's 2 there as well. So you just have to know that there are mistakes here. For instance, if you now calculate that figure, then you go equal to cost divided by sales distance. Can you see that? Can you see the errors is thrown at you? Can you see there is no value there? There's in fact, there's not possible to have millions in percentage there. Uh, you know, it shows you where some of the errors are. But if you have a large data set, you need to be able to extract and show it out in such a way that it's easy to see, so that when you're showing it to management, going it to the person, they don't have to go through the whole one, or you don't have to go through each of it. You just isolate it out. That's the word. Because obviously your percentages should be, let's say, between 1 and 100, not 160. It's horrible thing. So what you're going to do, you can do first, so we're going to select this cell here. You can select it all, Control Shift down, arrow down, and you are going to go with your home. You're going to go home and you're going to see conditional formatting. So you're going to choose conditional formatting. And there's different things you can do. You can go data bars, color scales, icon scales, new rules, clear out things, clear rules, manage rules. You can go and look at that in your own time. But for now, I'm just going to say highlight. So you can say highlight anything greater than, or just go between. I'm going to look between characters. So I'm going to say, could you look at this cells and say anything between, let's say, maybe 0 and 100 or 1. Let's say, should we say 1? And let's say 100. Anything between 1 and 100. Could you make it dark green, for instance? And I say, okay. And it refused to do that. I don't know why. So we're going to go back and say, come on. So because I put 1, maybe I should put 0. So I'm going to say, okay, let's try 0 and 100. Let's see whether it prefers. Or why is it dark red? I don't like dark red. Let me go with green. Maybe that's why. You can see it has turned it to green. So now it is isolated. I could have put blue, or it's isolated the main ones with the errors. So if you remember in class 2, we had data riddles, we highlighted all the errors and stuff like that, able to look through some of these things, say conditional formatting, go and say, well, I'm trying to find anything greater than or less than 1 or something like that. Give it dark yellow, something along those lines. So something like that. You can see this is, different ways you can highlight things. You can highlight just the ones with the problems or stuff like that. because that is highlighted, goes with the issues, and it's easy for you to see. So that's what you do. And then tip here, there are some literature, some journals that addressed how to fix errors. So you can go and find out. So you can, let's say, for instance, for the sales one, you can contact the sales team, and or you can decide to contact the accounting team here, whatever, or you can decide to just contact the data owner here, the data owner. But when you're writing all these things, it's just a good idea to be able to cite sources. There are some journals out there that have addressed this issue. It's now your work to go and practice this, but also conditional format. Try and see what you can do. Okay, so does anybody have any question? Oh, I didn't even see a question there. Someone said, yes, we can. Okay, all right, that's cool, that's cool. That is cool. It means you guys had already done your X and V lookup. Do we need to upload the Excel file with statistical solution? Some people put it in the appendices. Some people do. Just to show where their pivot files came from. So you can copy your pivot files, put it in the body of the work, and then any file that's longer than a page, which would be your other file, you just refer to it in the appendices. So that's what you can do. You know, the way you can just copy from one cell to another, you can do the same thing. This, you know, like this what was that pivot run. If you do copy this, you can easily paste it from one to another, which means you can paste this in the Word document. I don't know why it's giving me errors, for God's sake. It's because it has I think it's because it has another pivot table there, so it's upset. Don't put it where there's another pivot table on Excel, by the way. Okay. So any other questions? Okay, I don't know what you mean by mandatory or not. What is mandatory? And what's statistical solution? Does that mean, are you talking about your pivot tables? Can you explain so that I understand what you're going? Are you talking about your pivot tables? Graham, are you talking about your pivot tables? Yeah, definitely. Your question asks you in your assessment to provide some tables. So if you have some pivot tables, which are going to be some short form tables, you have to put in the body of the work to explain it, to say, refer to table one, so, cite some sources, write something. But, oh dear. But you should be able to do that. You definitely need your pivot tables in the body of your work. It's no questions asked. I think it's about 2 or 3 tables or something like that. Okay, so does anybody else have any other question? All right, that's good then. We're happy? We're happy? Yes or not yet? Yes. Happy, we now know how to do everything, or not yet, or all of that. Okay, good then. I'm going to stop sharing this.
Open eye, feel the waves cut through me, hypnotized by the sounds I'm breathing in. Hold tight, chemicals collide. Hold tight, hold tight, hold tight. Dripping lights paint the sky.